You absolutely need to see this. I'm telling you, this is not your average dinner." The mother immediately looked at Annie, trying to prompt her to agree, but unexpectedly, "I agree. I don't see any problem with this. Inviting civil servants to the royal family can actually make the public a bit more friendly, right?" That's what they agreed to fully open the coronation despite risks, as long as the media reports honestly. The rewards are obvious. However, her words didn't get the approval of the nobles present. Sensing something was off, Annie chose to stay quiet. Once dinner ended, Annie and Jack reached the door as the Queen rushed out, wanting to chat privately with Annie. Jack guessed his mother's intent and politely declined. Late at night, the prince was anxious and rode his motorcycle, sneaking out of the palace, reflecting on the dinner party. As he walked through the dim alley, Anna's complex emotions started to brighten up. She no longer obsessed over royal attitudes. Snowflakes fell gently, and the quiet seemed magical, shifting the atmosphere to an intimate vibe. Eventually, they couldn't resist and kissed. I mean, I've never kissed a princess. How's that for an experience? However, what they didn't know at this moment was Ali's scene was secretly caught by eager journalists. Next day, the Queen saw it in the newspaper first. Annie had no clue what was coming. She was swarmed by reporters at the door. The staff rushed out to maintain order, asking Annie to hide. After a chaotic day, the prince saw the newspaper by accident. He wanted to check on Anna's situation, but was stopped by his mother. They had a heated argument, and in the end, both took a step back. Jack promised his mother it would be the last time he'd meet Annie before the coronation ceremony began. They agreed to meet in a secluded spot at the hotel. He promised that after he ascended to the throne, he'd ensure Annie had a public identity. He initially planned a vacation for her, but his mother stopped him. But feeling guilty, he handed her a business card and said that if she had any trouble, she could just call the number on it. Over the next few days, the prince returned to the palace, fully preparing for the coronation, while Annie had to glam up to avoid the media every time she went out. They thought if they kept this up, everything would get better once Jack became king, but they forgot about the Queen's attitude. After arguing with her son about Annie, she secretly plotted. Anna's workplace senior leader called her directly. She said Annie, due to outstanding performance, was promoted to head, which should have been great news. But she added Annie needed to return right away to resign urgently. The deadline was the day before the prince's coronation. Of course, this was all the Queen's scheme, and poor Annie, not wise to this, became tangled in confusion. She began to ponder and thought questions. Setting aside class differences, distance troubled Annie. She arranged to meet Jack. Though her mother had priority, Anna's call was irreplaceable in his heart. She told Jack she planned to return to the city, explaining a raise and promotion were part of it, but more importantly, everything she had was there: life, friends, work, etc. Leaving was just a matter of time. She hadn't thought about these things before because she was caught up in the bliss of love. A call from the company yanked her back to reality. After multiple failed attempts to persuade her to stay, the prince finally understood her decision. We come from different worlds. Being with someone is a personal choice. You and I being together is a whole other level. The royal family's attitude and our lifestyle differences ended up being our biggest barrier. After a heart-wrenching goodbye with Jack, Annie returned to the hotel and started packing. At that moment, she caught sight of the business card Jack had given her, and after pondering for a bit, she decided before leaving she'd do one last thing for Jack. She dialed the number on the card, asking to get into the palace. "Have you been here?" "I have." She didn't have anything particular planned, but seeing him suddenly showed on her face was no small. Queen's face fell. "Sorry to advise the Emperor. Did he bring you?" "No intention. I'm here by myself." The scene switched to the Queen arriving at the children's shelter funded by Jack. Upon seeing her, Jack was taken aback, exclaiming, "What are you doing here?" "I found it quite interesting. I remember your father used to sing this for you. So this is your place." The Queen didn't realize that, in his eyes, she seemed to lack depth. Her son, who seemed to just play around and was quite childish, was secretly funding these kids. "Could you tell me why you brought her here?" "He didn't initiate it. I was the one who brought her here, but the concept was not his. She barged into my office uninvited and demanded to be seen. In truth, their biggest issue was a lack of effective communication." Queen thought her son was just a mess, so everything he did was dismissed as nonsense, and that's why Jack lost his desire to communicate with her. I have an idea that we should invite the children over to sing you a song titled Love. This song is a beautiful blessing from your father's memory. Are you serious? Invite the children? Sure. Then, surprisingly, the mother agreed to Jack's suggestion. Annie, the mediator, bridged the gap. Jack's suggestion was allowed after their reconciliation. Annie sincerely felt happy for them. Story winding down, you've guessed the ending. Subscribe.